We're going to take the website a step forward. So we've got our products, we've got our blogs, but what if you also want to sell courses? Maybe you want people to buy something and then they can access videos, PDFs, images, or just content, but you want to put it behind a paywall. You don't want to give everything away for free. You can do that using WooCommerce and an extra plugin that will restrict the content until they purchase a product. What we're going to do is do it for 3 courses, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Inside of our media library, I've already gone and dumped in 3 images. These are 1920 by 1080. You could make them smaller. They've all been made in Canva. They're quite simple, just showing 3 different styles there. They've been saved as a PNG from Canva and then using bulkresizePhotos.com converted into WebP. You can see them there. They're only about 19 kilobytes in size. For a 1920 by 1080 image, that's pretty good. What we're now going to do is go and create the 3 individual products. So we go over to products, and this is where we're going to kind of be doing something very similar to what we've done here, but just with a slight difference. I'm going to call this one Rockstar. I'm just going to add in some lorem ipsum text, but here's where you may also want to add in like some further information. Remember, you are selling a course here. So what's the benefits? What are they going to get out of it? Then I'm going to copy the entirety of that text. I'm going to scroll down until we get to the short description, and here's where I'm going to break a rule. I said the short description in the earlier video for WooCommerce was keep it short. In fact, for the course, don't. Put everything in here because this is going to be important for the part when you're now telling people about the course. You want to get over that this is a benefit to you. So don't just have a short description and then expect them to scroll down to now get more details. By the way, you can be quite inventive with this. You could, if you want, start sticking in testimonials, further images. Remember, you do have options over here to add media, so you could even drop in a video as well. Then over in product categories, I'm going to go and add in a new one, and I'm going to call this one courses even. I'm going to go in and add in my image, and for this one we will go with that image over there. For the pricing and the setup, I'm going to say this is a simple product. It is a virtual product though, and we are going to add in a little bit of code where anything that is virtual instantly becomes completed, and I will explain that when we get to that, okay? Because at the moment, all of the other rucksacks and backpacks we're selling in the shop, they have to go through a processing payment sequence, and then they have to be marked as completed. So once you know the payment's landed, it is now completed, you will then go in and dispatch. And I'll show you that when we get to that stage, okay? So bear with me on that. We're going to go and set in our price, $99.99. We will then go to the inventory and we'll put in a fake SKU number. We're not going to track the stock because we want everyone to buy it. You know, we don't want to say, hey, there's only 40 courses left, unless that's your business model or marketing strategy. We are going to say, though, that this is sold individually because I don't want someone to go on and buy 10 of the same course. It does make very little sense. Unless you were offering membership with like a monthly subscription, then, but again, even then you need to log in. So I would say just limit it to one person or one item. And then I'm going to duplicate this twice. So I've got 3 products in total. So we've got our 3 items: P-Key, Blinder, High King, Maker, and Rockstar. I know, very inventive. I've just left the prices as they are. The key bit is that they all fit within this courses bit, because we are going to have to go and modify our shop in a moment, but that isn't going to take long at all. Then we need to go and create pages for the delivery of our courses. So I'm going to go over to pages, go to all pages, and I'm going to click add new, and I'm going to name this as the same name as the product, but the only difference is I've now added in the word course at the end of it. Let's then go hit edit with Elementor. I've jumped back into my privacy policy page just to copy the container that had, you know, basically the look of it there. I've pasted it into the new page, the Rockstar course. Go to settings in the bottom left over there and say hide title. So that is now gone. And now here you can have a bit of a think about your delivery. Do you want to still maintain the amount of padding that you have at the moment over here? Let me just click on the container. Do you want to maintain that 60? Do you want to reduce it? Maybe for the course, because now you are delivering something a little bit different. Welcome to the Rockstar course. And now what you do here is entirely up to you. I could add in like loads of text. I could go and drop in images. I could go and drop in video. I can drop in PDFs. I can drop in images, carousels. You could even drop into here like a link for a Zoom session as well. You can do whatever you want, and you can update this page as many times or as little as you want. The idea is that whenever you come here now, this is going to be the content for your course. Now, at the moment, anyone can access this, and we are going to control that, okay, so that you can't access it until you purchase the Rockstar product. So we have our 3 pages. We've got the Rockstar course, we've got the Peaky Blinder course, and we've got the High Kingmaker course. It's really important that you have the word course in your URL. So I just want to highlight that over here. If you look at the URL, it's got High Kingmaker -course. You've got to make sure that's in there. Otherwise, you might get confused with which page you're touching. I do apologize for how bland those pages look, but I just want to get over to you that you could create that with however you want, okay? And I don't want to say this is the layout you want to go for because it depends on your content. So there's a little bit, I don't want to say do this, do this, do this. Remember, you are working with Flexbox containers and you have a range of widgets that you can use to display whatever you want. Now what we need to do is set up a page whereby we can advertise all the courses, because we're going to have a separate course page. These will not be visible on the shop because the shop is more for selling backpacks. Now you could include them. At the moment they are in the shop because we haven't excluded any categories. The courses, they are there. If I was to go over to shop right now, there they are. It sits there, but then it starts to get messy, right? You got a mixture of these courses and you got a mixture of backpacks. It doesn't look great, and I want the shop to just be the backpacks. So what we're going to do is create a new page. Now, I am going to open up the home page because I'm going to reuse elements from that in terms of the structure. But let's go and create a new page. I'm going to call it Courses, Edit with Elementor, and we're going to go through the same drill as what we've done at the moment. Once it's open, go to the bottom left, Settings, hide the title. Let's go to our home page. I'm going to pick up this container, go over to our courses, and I'm going to paste it in its entirety. I'm then going to get rid of the logo. So what we now have is, we've got some padding in there, 60 and 100. We've got a bit of text. I'm going to get rid of the padding that we have here completely. I'm going to go to the layout and I'm going to make this be a minimum height of, I mean, you could go with REM, EM, you could go with VH, VW as well. Not VH, VW, VH, viewport height. I'm actually going to make this be about 500 in height, and I'm going to centralize the items here. I'm then going to go over and give this a background image, so container style. And I'm going to pick this image that I've been saving, this one over here. We're going to make this be a cover. We're going to go with a center. Ooh, center's not good. We'll go with a top center then. Because that's the danger. If your image isn't like full height of the screen, your center literally focuses onto the center, and you might chop off like too much of the legs or too much of the head or the sky or the ground or however you're building it. Let's go and turn this into be a white, and I'm going to change the typography now to be about 700 like that, because the typography is now a 5 and I've put the word join the adventure. Remember I said about the line height, always go up by about 5.5. I mean, if I do 5, that is the standard, so you can get away with that. But sometimes if you want a bit more spacing, just add in a 0.5 into the sizing over there. I'm going to convert this to be a H2 tag, and then I'm going to duplicate it, have another one which I will convert to be a H1 tag, because it might contain the keyword when we get onto that. I'm going to hit the text shadow just to make it pop a little bit, give it a bit of a dark color over there, just so you can, I mean, look, can you see the wording there with the white over the yellow? So that just gives it a little bit of, you know, just pops it out a little bit there. Before we move on, let's just check how that looks on the mobile. I mean, by the way, if you feel like it was a little bit lopsided, you can go over here, go over to custom, and now, you know, it might move it all the way over to the left. So just go to the X1 and then just kind of move it a little bit. So I'd prefer it actually to be roughly about there. Yeah, that's looking much better now. I'm going to go down to my home page, and I'm going to use this particular container that actually had another container. I'm not going to use the call to action one because I am going to have 2 buttons on here. So I'm going to pick up this container, go over to my page, and I'm going to dump it in here. Now, you will notice as soon as you do that, we are up against one another, and that doesn't look so good in terms of the flow of the page, because it feels like full width jumping into box width. You got to be very careful of that. So I need to add in a little bit of breathing space. We go to my container, go to advanced, and I think 60 should be okay. Can you see the difference that makes? That little bit of breathing space helps you out. Okay, great. We're then going to go over here, and remember, the text that describes the product is your selling point. So make sure you make that as expansive as possible. Add in what you need to add, basically. I'm just going to go in and get rid of some of the padding just so I know what I'm playing with over here. I'm just going to reduce that had 60 top and bottom to in fact be 30 top and bottom like that. I then go over to this container. So we had a parent container and inside we had a child container. The child container contained the text and the button because I'm going to have two buttons side by side. Let's go to our container. That did not have any background image on. The child container did, so we'll go in, we'll change the background image there, and we will go with the Peaky Blinder one first. So there we have our image. It doesn't look very bright, but don't forget, that's because if we go over here to our background overlay, I actually added in an overlay. So I'm going to clear that out so that brightens the image. We have some text, which you would obviously want to change to be whatever you want to say. We have a button, but let's just inspect the child container first. It is currently set as a column. I'm going to convert... let me show you what happens if we left it as it is. I'm now going to add in another button. So we have two buttons there. That actually looks okay. You could get away with that. Let's go to the first button. I'm going to change this to be see more details like that. And we'll put in like a bit of a chevron going in over there. The link for this is very important. I'm going to type in peak. Actually, this is not the Peaky Blinders one. This is the hiking one. So I'm going to type in hi. And you'll see here, Hiking Maker, which is the product, and Hiking Maker course. That's the actual course. We want to go for the product. I want you now to go and get more details and then hopefully purchase it. That's all we're going to do there. And obviously you would go and change your buttons and your styling and anything like that. The second button, I'm going to change that to be access the course. And then I'm going to put the chevron in again. The link for this, again, I'm going to type in hi Kingmaker. This is now the actual course page, okay? So the see more details is the product, but if you've now paid and you want to access it, you hit that button and that will take you in. Now you might want to modify the style of the buttons. I would probably recommend you do that. So I'm just going to go in and give this a slightly different color. And the reason why I'm doing that is that if ever you get someone contact you and they go, oh, how do I access the course? You go, look, go to the courses page, hit the black button, make sure you're logged in and away you go. Sometimes being able to describe things by saying, go there, click that color is much easier than, yep, somewhere on the page, it's the third button, it's somewhere 50 pixels from the right. It's easier, right? Now, the problem is the buttons are below one another. I want them to be side by side. So we go to our child container and I'm now going to set this to be a row, okay? And this is what happens. Everything just kind of moves out, it basically does what it's doing. First thing I'm going to do is justify this all to start at the start, basically, right at the beginning. The second thing I'm going to do is hit the wrap function. And now what happens is it kind of wraps like basically that, okay? The third thing I'm going to do is go to align content and I'm going to say flex at the end. So it pushes everything down, okay? So it's a bit more like that. Automatically, everything is now side by side. If that did not happen and it wasn't doing that and the buttons were still like cramped up against one another or the button was still over here, go over to your text, go and check like your paddings and margins and then make sure that the text was set to be a full width. I don't have to, but I'm going to do it anyway. Go over to your button and if the button was also like full width, so it looks like that, just go in and hit custom and adjust the width of it to be how you want. Now I'm going to remove that because at the moment everything is sitting quite nicely. I'm just going to change the title to say Hiking Maker and I'm going to change this also to be a uppercase and I'm going to increase the font to be a bit of a bold. Give this some letter spacing of 1 as well. And then I'm going to go and check how that looks in the mobile. So let's just click that. You might want to change the top over here to be 378 as a minimum. First thing I'm going to do is go over to my parent container. I'm going to say give me about 60 from the top there. Go to the child container. This is where I'm going to add in a bit of padding. Let's just unlink that first. So I've gone 100 from the top and 20 from the bottom. Again, you may want to maybe think about your images. I mean, I did make the logo quite big there. Maybe I should have made it smaller in hindsight. But for the bottom button, we will definitely remove that because otherwise it's just, well, it's fighting for attention now with the other button there. Page. I mean, this is very, very basic. You could possibly put in more testimonials and stuff, but don't forget, they're going to get a lot of that maybe on the product page, but you could add in more items. You're trying to get across, hey, this is a really good course. What we then do for the second and third course is just duplicate this. I don't mind having the space because I want my courses to breathe now, okay? And all I'm going to do is just change the content for the images and what we're advertising. Peaky Blinder course, you go over to the button. Remember, you change your text here as well. We go over to the button, and where we have the link, I'm going to type in peak. And this time, remember, you are going to the product. We go to the course one. You just delete that and I type in peak and you are now going to the page. This is where they will actually access it. So if we now view that, that would be our course selling page. And one of the reasons why I like to do it without using a full-blown LMS bit of kit is I'm not overly bothered about things like certificates or progression or module 1, module 2, module 3. Once I've designed the page, I could have accordions on there. I could have tabs on there. I could say to you, make sure you do everything step by step. Because let's be honest, just because a course page says you got to go through all of these items and get a tick, well, it's really easy to open it, the tick appears, then you move on to the next one. And I don't like to limit people. I would like to say, well, look, here's a course. There's about 100 things on here. If you want to jump to item 90 because you actually know the first 89 stuff, fine, go and do that. So I don't like to limit you, the user. And at the moment, there's nothing to stop anyone. Like if you've got the URL for that page, you can go in and see all of the content. It's not restricted. Let's sort out our shop pages first. Now, something I want to point out, you can jump straight into the shop and modify this. But if you jump into the shop results, you're going to get this error pop-up saying you can't edit. Now, you're probably going, why can't I do that? It's because this is driven by the template. You must remember that. So what we've got to do is go over to our templates. And here we have our shop archive. So let's go and edit that. Okay, that is basically like a copy for the shop. They look the same, except the shop page had these grid builder filters on as well. I'm very quickly and easily just going to click on here. For where we have our loop grid, we have our query. I'm going to go to query and I'm going to say exclude. I'm going to say exclude by term. And then down here where you have the term, don't put it over here with search and select. Down here, I'm going to type in course and we'll have product categories for the courses. And when I do that, they are now excluded. Now you will have noticed over here, this did change in terms of layout. So if I just get rid of that for a moment, you'll see here, because we have the extra item, all of this pushed up against one another because of the width of it. So you might need to modify the width of your items in terms of custom width. Remember, this over here had a custom width of 25%. If I was to maybe decrease it to be 20%, 22, it would be fine. So I'm just going to pop that back to 25, go back over to my loop grid over here, go over to my query, and remember what we said, we are excluding by courses like that. And I'm just going to, well, hit update there. So that now means the courses are not visible on the shop page. Now, when you come to do the template, which is for the products archive, which is the shop's results page, even though I go here, and this is something you're just going to have to get used to, even if I go into exclude and I say by term, and then over here, I type in courses like that and I exclude it, it doesn't necessarily disappear. Do this anyway and hit update. Do it anyway because technically you're not going to get to see this page unless you go via here anyway, okay, via the category page. This is here, but if you get your head into gear, you're not going to see this until you go via here, but there is no courses here. So don't worry about that. Remember, you click casual and you go through to the casual page. Does that make sense? The single product template is visible for every single product. Let me show you the problem. Let me just go and edit with Elementor, and I'm going to change what we have here as well. So this is our single product template, and you're going to go, yeah, okay, it looks okay. We got all of our information. Let me go to settings, let me go to preview, and let me now get rid of that and let me bring over one of our items. So let's go with the Peaky Blinder one. Watch this, okay? Remember, the short description is not now short. Look at that. Doesn't that look really, really wrong now? We got all this huge amount of text, and then your price is down here, and we got another description. It's too much, okay? So here's what you need to do. Let's go and pop this back into let's just get rid of that. Let's just go and pop in a Rockstar, what was it? Roma, just so that we know everything is okay. Yep, that's all looking good. What you want to do is down here where you have obviously the update button, you want to go and click save options and you want to click display conditions. This is currently on for every product, but I need to add in another condition. So we click add and I then go to exclude, and I'm now going to say exclude category, and the category I want to exclude is courses. Just type it and it will appear. So this is visible for all products, but not for courses. Let's then click save and close. Copy the entire container. I'm not bothered about the bottom one, if I'm honest, because my description and my short description are the same. So I'm just going to copy this entire container that we have here. If you haven't been watching the WooCommerce videos with regards to how we built this, please go and watch those because it explains how we built this as a container with 2 child containers, and we added in a little bit of CSS to style this out as well. We go to our templates. We click add new. I'm going to call this one course product. Click create template. We hit paste and we have this. Now, what I now do here is pretty easy. I'm just going to open up the navigator so I can do it quicker, so I can see my 2 child containers over there. I'm now going to go, well, we have the product image, we have the breadcrumb, which, do I want to keep that or not? Maybe yes or no. We have our short description, which we now know is going to be bigger, and we have our pricing. Well, you know what? I'm going to pick the pricing up and I'm going to drop it underneath the image over there. Because I know my courses only have one image, so I don't have to worry about the fact that you have thumbnails here. The add to cart, I'm going to drop that in as well. The text editor is share. Yeah, let's go and take that. And the share buttons as well. This might look a bit odd because it's now a little bit more cramped. So this is where you may want to have a think about how many buttons are you going to show, how big are you going to make your container. I am for now just going to get rid of the print. I don't even know why we had that, to be honest. Why did I ever add print? But anyway, you got Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, something like that, okay? I'm then going to go over to my settings, go to my preview, and I'm going to get rid of... Oh no, we're going to leave it as the Peaky Blinder, actually. We'll do the Peaky Blinder there one and do apply and preview. Can you see the difference that makes into the terms of the styling? Actually, I've just realised here, we had this child container had about 30. So I'm going to go over here and give this one about 30 as well, just to pop things in line like that. I'm just going to make a few modifications to the sizing we have here. That's what it would look like with auto. This is what it looks like with stacked. But if you want to just go with okay, let's just go with stacked. We'll go over here and I'm now just going to decrease the top of this and bring it over like that. If you want to add any of the further items onto this page, you can do, but you can clearly see here why having the description again would make very little sense. So this is where the short description and what you add is very important with the selling point for the product. Then go and hit publish. And this is where now you're going to say, you're going to get an error because we already have include for all the products. But what you're going to say is only do this now for the product category. All right, you don't have to say products and now exclude rucksack, backpack. For this one, just say include in category. We're going to go with courses like that. And hit save and close. Now have our courses. We're going to add that to the menu. I'm not adding the individual courses. You could do as a drop down if you want, so when people have purchased it, but I'm just going to say no, you go back to the courses page because I almost kind of want to keep reminding them that there's other courses there as well. We're going to pick this up and we're going to pop it in after the shop like that. Save the menu and you can now see courses. So let's now just go and open that window and it's now going to take us into the... I don't know why I opened it in another window. Just click the page, right? There you got your home. There you got your courses. You can scroll down. If we now go to the Hiking Maker course and say see more details, it takes you over to the details. Great, let's hit the back button. If you hit this, you will see the content, which we are going to restrict, but I just want to show you, click that, you're now into the actual course page. We are going to stop that. But just to remind you, we have a different layout now for the courses. But if we go over here to the shop or any other shop item, and we now go, let's go to the all-terrain, you have a different single product template coming up for that. So you can be very specific over different looks and feelings for categories. If you're liking what we're doing at the moment, please don't forget to smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Please share this video on forums and anyone else, because I really hope you're getting a lot out of this. And don't forget about our super course that you can go and get more details from our website. Now let's go and restrict the content so you can't access it unless you purchase a product. Now I do want to point out that there are many ways you could do this. I'm going to use a plugin, which you can get for free, whereby you got to purchase before you can access the page. You just pay once, because I'm selling one-off courses. So if the course is £99, you pay that and you can access it for life. Maybe, though, you want to set up like a monthly membership, so you got to pay monthly or quarterly. There are plugins out there called Paid Membership Pro. There's other ones as well. If you go over to plugins, go and type in WooCommerce subscription, because remember, your product is on WooCommerce. You've got this one over here by WP Swings. You've got the YIF as well. WooCommerce do give you one, but you got to pay for that, and it's quite a ridiculously high cost in my opinion. But there are plugins out there. I'm just going to use one that you pay once and you can access it. Type in restrict WooCommerce, and there are quite a few other options on here, but the one I really like is this one here, page restrict for WooCommerce. Okay, there are lots of settings when you go into settings, but I'm going to tell you now, I actually don't bother with any of these. Okay, I don't limit it to anything because I have full-on control over how I'm doing things. I then go over to where we have pages here, and believe me, this looks complicated, but it's not. We have the Hiking Maker course. This is going to be locked by the Hiking Maker product. This will automatically bring through your WooCommerce products. That's how clever it is. So Hiking Maker is the Hiking Maker product. And I'm going to say not all products required. I don't know why. Don't expect or ask me to explain why. But Hiking Maker, just make sure you say not all products required. We don't have the Peaky Blinder course. Well, it's going to be the Peaky Blinder, not all items required. And then we have the Rockstar course, and I'm now going to go with the Rockstar and not all products required. You scroll down, you hit save. If I now go over to our page, I go to courses. I mean, I could also have gone just down here to the actual button. Did I show you that? I'm not sure. If I go over here and hit it, it's going to take me to the courses page. If I now go here to see more details, I will see more details. We're pretty much established on that. But watch what happens when I click access the course. Your access to this page expired, or you haven't bought products needed to access this page. Buy Hiking Maker in order to access this page. Now, one thing I will say, the styling of this isn't the greatest, and it's something that really gets on my nerves a bit. But you now want it. You have to click that and it takes you to the product page. If you have purchased it, though, then you would be able to access it. So this is a really cool way of doing it. And if anyone is worried, well, what about all the other products? Let's just go over to the shop page. Let me click the all-terrain bag. I'm going to hit add to cart, and it will obviously go to my cart. In fact, let's go to the courses, add that to the cart, and we can see our items. Now, there is still one other thing we need to address here as well. I mean, hopefully I've kind of rushed that a bit, but look, it works. You can't access the course until you purchase it. And remember, because your product is virtual anyway, I want to prove this to you, okay? Look, if I go in for the rocks, well, let's go with $19.99 for the Rockstar and then just update that. Can you see there that even though that is below 50 and we added in a code snippet, it still does not apply any shipping cost because it is a virtual or a downloadable product. So we've created a course page, courses, and restricted access to them until you buy the product. But there is a big downside. When you buy it, until you now confirm that the order is completed, i.e. money's landed or whatever, if I've purchased it, cannot access the course. That can really put people off. If I buy a virtual product, I want to be able to download, read it, do what I want with it straight away. I shouldn't have to wait 24 hours or 48 hours for you to confirm I paid. So what we need to do is drop in a code snippet that automatically completes it. Let me show you what I mean. In your WordPress dashboard, when you go to WooCommerce, you'll have an item over here called orders. Now, if anyone had purchased anything, their details and what they've bought would be here. I'm not going to have any because this is kind of like we're just building this on the fly. I'm going to go in and create a fake order. By the way, this is something you could do if maybe you were giving a product to someone or they were buying it via other means or processes. I'm going to click add product. I'm going to go and type in rock for the rock star, and I'm going to add that. By the way, if you wanted to give a product away for free, just go and click the pencil, change the price to be 0 like that, hit save, and what will happen is it will then say, okay, there's been a coupon applied of $19.99. You can have it for free. So I've gone and created a fake order. The trouble is, by the way, this isn't the right way to do it because it doesn't even have a customer name. You got to go and register a customer in as a user. So create them as a user down here first, then the name will become available for you to pick. But anyway, the thing is that this says pending payment. So they've now paid, but that's what will happen. You need this particular order to convert to become a completed order, because until it completes, they can't access that product, and that is going to really annoy people. So what you need to do is go over to snippets, click add new, give it a title, and then click the link in the video description and go and grab this code. Click copy, go back to your snippets, paste it in, save changes, activate. And if anyone now purchases any of those courses now, please do not go purchasing anything. You're not going to get anything back from me. It will say completed. And when they then go over to their website, so over here, visit site, and then they log into their account. I mean, obviously it's not going to work for me because I haven't done it via that account. But what would have happened is when they go over to their orders or downloads, it would say, sorry, for their orders, it will say they've paid for it. But then they can go to the courses page, they can click access the course, and then they'll access the page. It might feel like there were quite a few steps there. So we created the 3 products, we created 3 course pages, they're just duplicates, and then we modified the content. Obviously, that's what you would do. We created a separate course page that would steer you towards the course you want to go for and the gateway to access them. We installed a plugin to restrict things until you actually pay for that. And then we added in a code snippet. Now, there are LMS products out there that you can get for free with add-ons and extensions, or there are some where you got to pay a bit of a premium. There is nothing wrong with them. The only reason why I like to go down the route I do is I have full-on control over how the products are displayed, where they sit, the actual product page. Because a lot of these plugins or themes that you can get, they slightly dictate how you are going to do things. And if you ever say, well, I want to jig the layout, they go, yeah, you're going to have to go and do a child theme or go and do loads of CSS editing. And if you're not comfortable with that, it can get a little bit messy. So if you want to build everything out with Elementor and you're not bothered about a certificate at the end, I mean, you could do. I could still pop a certificate at the bottom of the page, and then I go, great, you've now completed, download, add your name, however electronically you want to do it. There is an Elementor widget called Progress Tracker. So as you scroll down the page, the progress tracker, like a bar or a circle, will start to fill up. Again, there's little things you can do to make it feel a little bit more interactive. But that is how we've just added an LMS component, almost, to our website.